Today, we will be finishing our first trail on Bikepark Flats. If you're new here, then welcome. And if you like trail building videos, then don't forget to subscribe, because we've only just begun building here. So far, we've established the highest area on the property, Bikepark Point, and our goal is to eventually build some downhill trails starting from that peak. But Bikepark Point is in the back half of the property, so we need to build a trail to reach it. And that's what we did. However, after building about half of that trail, we stopped halfway through in order to build a fun little warm-up gap jump. If you want to watch those videos, then there's a link to the playlist in the description, as well as one in the corner of your screen. But today, we need to finish this trail up so we can get to building more fun stuff. First things first, you may have noticed that after the jump comes these two berms, and while the time lapse of me shaping them looks pretty cool, they don't actually work that well. You're better off just using the first one as a jump, doing a little skid into the second one, and not even trying to use the third one. Someday we will have to fix this, but right now these berms are just excuses to ignore building the rest of this very long trail. To do that, we are going to be using the exact same technique as we were using last time, and that involves the tiller. And since we use the tiller so much, I think it's fitting we finally give it a name. I'm going to call it the Sod Smasher for obvious reasons. Building trails with the Sod Smasher looks something like this. First, till up the trail. Second, rake the dirt into the middle. Then rake the dirt into piles. After that, come along and scoop it up into the wheelbarrow. After that, smooth the trail with a rake and tamp down the roughest sections. If the trail is super dry, then you can also use some water to make sure it gets packed down flat. Once you do all of this, it leaves you with a nice, smooth, grassless trail. But with all this work, we are finally ready to venture into the back half of the property. And that's exciting because it means we are that much closer to creating a downhill trail. But building here might pose a bit of an issue. When we toured this place a couple weeks ago, the grass was this tall. And now, it's even taller and thicker, which shouldn't come as a surprise because this is a hayfield. But to clear a path through this, you need an extremely heavy-duty mower, which I don't have. So I did the first pass by hand with a weed eater. Then I used a push mower to make it even shorter. And then I came back and used a full-on riding mower. Now, I'm sure you're all asking, why didn't you just use that mower in the first place? Well, for one, it wasn't running, and two, as you can see, it's super dodgy, and only runs half the time. And I guess I should explain that the lawn treader is a new addition to the team. After mowing the grass short, it was time to till. And here's where I underestimated just how hard it was going to be to build trails in this hayfield. First, I tried tilling when it was too wet, and as you can see, the dirt stuck to the rake and it didn't work. But then I found out that even after using 3 different machines to cut the grass away, I still needed to rake it, otherwise the dirt I tilled up would be 50% plant material. And that isn't what we want. After raking it, the next step of course is to till and then rake the dirt. And I have to say this trail definitely looks the best. Watching it go from grass to dark chocolate colored dirt has got to be one of the most satisfying things I've experienced yet. After raking the dirt into piles, I decided to use the lawn treader again with the trailer we had got to haul the dirt. And I have to say, this works a lot better than the wheelbarrow. So, without further ado, I set out to finish this trail once and for all. after we got that done, we still had one more section left to do before we were officially at Comifera Point. But after a lot of work, we have finally built a 1/4 mile of trail here on Bodark Flats, and that means we get to name it. But more importantly, Bodark Flats now has a system. It has a climbing trail, marked high spots and low spots, and even a fire road. So to say things are finally kicking off here would be perfectly adequate. And without giving too much away, all I can say is we have something big planned for next week. Now, let's take a run through our newest trail, Rattlesnake.
That part's fun. Get rid of this. Oh my god.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Next week, we will be moving on to even more exciting stuff. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and find your flow.
Look at that. Oh, turkey! Go, turkey, go!